This is a new generation of Afghan voters casting their ballots in peace. For 30 years they were denied this right. To ensure peaceful elections here, Pakistan placed additional 5,000 troops on Afghan border with Northwest Frontier Province and 4,500 on Afghan border with Balochistan, and also imposed curfew within 5 kilometers of the border area. Pakistan's unprecedented anti-terror campaign generated an effect that went far beyond the borders of Pakistan. The leads provided by Pakistan directly resulted in averting terrorist attacks planned by various terrorist networks in different parts of the world, like the plan to attack London's Heathrow Airport in 2004.
I would like to thank the President for the moves that he has made recently. He explained to me just now in the meeting the 6-point strategy that he has for fighting terrorism, terrorism not just in Pakistan but elsewhere as well.
Pakistan's strategy against terrorism had a favorable effect on the Pakistani public opinion, emboldening many Pakistanis to stand up to terrorism. Ghufran, a 24-year-old young man from Karachi, on spotting a suicide bomber in a Karachi mosque, without caring for his personal safety, jumped on him and threw him out of the compound, thus saving the lives of hundreds of worshippers.
मस्जिद में मैंने भाई ने और दीगर साथी ने मिलकर गेट पर वॉलंटियर का काम अदा किया। हमारे बाद ये बात ज़हन में थी कि बहुत तो खुदकश हमला आवर है। उस रोज़ भी हुआ ही, अचानक शदीद फायरिंग शुरू हो गई। देखा कि एक शख्स जूते पहना हुआ दाखिल हुआ और तेज़ी से आगे बढ़ने लगा, तो मैं उसकी तरफ गया, तो मैं इसको पुश किया तो वो पिलर से जाकर टकराया, तो मैं पिलर के उस तरफ गिरा था। फिर याद धमाका फिर याद नहीं रहा।
Pakistani military concentration is the largest of any coalition member on either side of the Pakistan-Afghan border. There are over 80,000 troops operating in the federally administered tribal areas of Pakistan who are manning 768 checkposts all along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. They launched over 90 major operations. As a daily routine, they carry out 70 to 80 patrolling and ambush missions, besides establishing 50 to 60 mobile checkposts. 3 air assault companies have been specially trained for snap and search operations. Over 800 terrorists have been apprehended and over 300 have been killed so far. Al-Qaeda's backbone has been broken. It has ceased to exist as a viable force. Al-Qaeda is now more of a phenomenon than a network. Sporadic acts of terrorism that still continue in other parts of the world are due to local conditions, or more likely by certain regional groups who are using the name of Al-Qaeda to lend legitimacy to their acts. Major General Shaukat Sultan Khan, Director General Ispr, regularly visits the tribal areas in order to brief the world media on the progress of the war on terror.
Pakistan condemns terrorism in all its manifestations and forms, and Pakistan is committed not to allow its territory to be used for terrorism, for any terrorist act within the country or outside the country.
Pakistan is fighting on many fronts to eliminate terrorism and extremism with a multi-pronged strategy to bring the tribal region into the mainstream Pakistani civil society. Other than the artillery pieces and combat helicopters, the engineering corps is building schools, roads and digging wells for clean drinking water, constructing necessary permanent infrastructure to link these hardy people to the civilized world. The medical corps is providing vital treatment to the sick and the suffering from multiple diseases. Aisha Wazir, this talented youth from Waziristan, was denied her basic right to higher education. Since the army operation, this society has welcomed many enlightened changes. Now girls like Aisha are pursuing their studies in major cities of Pakistan.
The movement of army in our areas has actually proved to be instrumental in the emancipation of women. They have actually made our parents understand that your daughters must also contribute respectfully in the country's peace, progress and prosperity.
President Musharraf also lobbied the leaders of the Islamic world to adopt that part of the strategy of enlightened moderation. At the same time, the Pakistani leader has been trying to convince the Western leaders to accept their responsibility to resolve political disputes involving Muslims in order to root out terrorism.
Your country has had a key role to play in counter-terrorism, and you, Mr. President, have personally shown great courage and commitment in taking action against terrorism, despite often domestic difficulties in doing so.
This is the town of Shakai that had remained a hotbed of foreign militants and Al-Qaeda terrorists in South Waziristan Agency until the summer of 2004. Today, it has schools for boys and girls funded by the Pakistan Army. Instead of learning ideologies of hate and anger, the younger generation of this part of the tribal belt is learning computer skills and sciences. Pakistan is a peace-living and peace-loving nation. It has taken the lead in fighting terrorism and extremism and has done enough and is committed to do more.
Also, I salute somebody in President Musharraf who has played a major role in the fight against terrorism, somebody who has understood the need to confront and defeat the extremist elements within our society, and they are to be found in many societies that seek to visit death and terrorism on people around the world.
No single state can win this war alone. That is why a well-coordinated international effort is required to achieve this purpose. Poverty, illiteracy, and political injustice are the causes upon which terrorism thrives. Living in the Stone Age-like conditions was once an accepted destiny by these people. That is history now. Realizing the need for progress and modernity, these tradition-loving people have voted in favor of reforms. The transformation of their young generation is clearly visible. The guns are silenced as peace and tranquility are returning to these areas. The wild olive trees are now turning into the proverbial olive branch for the rest of the world, as these hardy people are joining the 21st century.